Hey everybody, it's Stock Picks by Tim, and in this video we're going to be looking over a couple of semiconductor stocks, and I'm going to just look over the overall market on TradingView's heat map, and I'm also going to give you what I expect over the next couple of days. We do have our GDP data coming in. So are we going to be officially in a recession? We will literally find out in a couple of days. So if you guys are new, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I put out daily videos, and if you're returning, don't forget to like. Definitely helps me out there. And let's see how the market's doing. And looking at the overall market here on TradingView, you'll see that Tesla's down quite a bit, Amazon's down, large cap tech is down quite a bit, and honestly across the board we're relatively red. The only thing I see overall that's actually green is health technology. Utilities are up a bit. Otherwise, across the board, we are quite red, and I do expect this for tomorrow as well. And why do I expect a red day tomorrow? Well, we have our GDP data coming out on the 28th, so I think we're going to have a little bit of fear coming up to that date, a little bit of uncertainty in the market, and a possible continued sell-off. However, that being said, I see a lot of deals out there, even right now, but a lot of these stocks, I would potentially wait until tomorrow, and I might even get a better deal. We're going to look over those stocks in just a second. And another reason we're likely to fall, we've got our Federal Reserve's rate hikes coming up. So the Fed is expected to raise rates by 75 basis points, 0.75%. And if they raise it by more than that, get ready for a dump. If they raise it by less than that, we might see a slight green day. But there's definitely going to be a lot of uncertainty in this market. We do have earnings coming up for a lot of stocks, but let's get on with it. And I'm going to give you my stock picks for the day. And first off, I wanted to mention micron. I really haven't talked about this one in a while. We're looking at a very long-term chart, but you'll see that this upward trend line we follow, it has respected it since about 2015. And we are now approaching it. I'm going to be watching out for micron. Earnings is a ways out. Earnings is coming up the end of September expected. So we don't really have any pessimism there, but we do have earnings for other semiconductors coming up, and that could cause some fear in micron, some more fear. I personally see micron as a great spot to average in. Now, I currently don't have a position in this. I did have micron. If you guys remember way back around the beginning of this channel, I mentioned micron right around this level. It ran up to about $100 area. I got out, took my profits, really haven't talked about this one since, but now that it's right here around $60, I think it's a great time to DCA, but just be aware that, it is very possible that we come and test, $50 if we do start dipping down and testing this trend level, testing this trend line. It's very possible we dip towards $50. That being said, I see it as a great time to DCA into micron, and looking at some of their stats, they've got a forward PE under 10. They've got debt of about $7.5 billion and cash of over $10 billion. They're looking pretty good on the balance sheet, and they are profitable companies, so they will be able to continue to pay off that debt. But let me know what you guys think about micron MU stock in the comments below. Really haven't talked about this one in a long time. Now, as for the next one, I have mentioned this one before, and this is going to be AMD stock, Advanced Micro Devices. Now, with AMD, be aware that earnings is coming up. We've got earnings expected on August 2, so coming up very soon. I think we're going to trade sideways, if not a little bit downtrend coming up to earnings. Now, we were in this nice uptrend, this nice upward channel, but we did break it, and we have been coming down a bit. Now, it does seem like it's trying to bounce off the 200 EMA, so keep an eye on that. If we do break it, it's very likely we come and test $80. But you'll see that we have this beautiful double bottom, beautiful W. Once we hit this $70 area, for me personally, I think AMD is a steal even at its current price. And in my opinion, we have a very limited downside for AMD. It's already been beaten down quite a bit. We're sitting at, it was $150, and now we're talking about an $85 stock, came all the way down to the 70s. I personally see AMD as a great time to add. Last earnings did great. I expect good things for this earnings, although we still could see a little bit of pessimism coming up to that. To me, that'll be a buying opportunity. As many of you know, I'm very bullish on semiconductors in general. It is an industry that is going to exponentially grow. Everything needs chips, and I think AMD is a great add at this price. Next up, I wanted to talk about a small cap semiconductor stock. This is going to be the smallest cap of the bunch here, and this is going to be Indi Semiconductors. And just because it's a small cap doesn't mean you should just write it off as a crap stock. This, in my opinion, is one of the best picks of all of these stocks here, in my opinion. Now, we broke out of that $6.10 resistance, continued upwards, came all the way up to $7, started cooling off now. I personally think Indi can definitely come and test $6 again. We do have earnings coming up very soon, but let me remind you that last earnings, we were downtrending, came all the way down to $5. Earnings came out, gave good outlook, gave good guidance, gave good numbers, increased revenue, and it just lit a fire on this one and it started running up. I do expect something similar for this next earnings, but of course I could be wrong. But in my opinion, we're looking at Indi long term. Over the last couple earnings, we've been continuing to increase that revenue. Things continue to look better and better. We've got a very, very amazing executive team. I cannot stress that enough. I highly urge you to actually look into them. And looking at Indi at this price, you know, I see it as an absolute steal, but just be aware that, you know, coming up to earnings is very likely we trade sideways, if not downtrend. But for a long-term investor, this is a buying opportunity. And next up, we've got Intel, INTC. This one I do not have. I've traded in and out of it before. Looking at it now under $40, I see it as a great time to add. The MACD is actually curling, pointing up, looking bullish. Looks like the RSI is riding its upward trend line, but with this one, same story. We've got earnings coming up, and this is actually going to be July 28th, the day that the GDP numbers come out. So I definitely expect a little bit of a downtrend coming up to that date. I personally could see it as a great time to add Intel tomorrow, even maybe on the 28th. But if you don't want to, you know, trade through earnings, if you don't want to buy before earnings, just wait until after earnings, maybe even DCA through it. I definitely like Intel as a long-term stock, but just be aware that it has been in a downtrend since May 2021. But you know, this has been the story with a lot of these stocks. You know, we have been in a huge bear market, and if you're looking long-term, if you're looking long, a lot of these I see as extreme deals. Next up, another stock I see as a great deal. I don't have this though. I'm continuing to watch it. We have been in this long downtrend. Let me zoom out a bit. We've been in this downtrend ever since 2021 November. Nvda was a $338 stock. It's been in a downtrend. Now we're sitting at about 170, 165. And zooming in a bit, you'll see that we did break our little bit of an uptrend we had. I think we can definitely come down a bit. Tomorrow, I think would be a great time to add to some Nvidia, even now, but I do expect a bit of a red day tomorrow. So that's why I say that. But, you know, looking at this one, hopefully you guys played that breakout of 160 and scalped some on that, because that was a very, very easy breakout. Now, you know, this came all the way down to 145, started pushing 180. Now, just because it had that little bullish momentum doesn't mean we are not out of this downtrend. You know, it's very likely we continue down, but keep an eye on this 148, 145, keep an eye on these levels under 150. You know, it's very possible we test those levels again. I think at the very least, we're going to come and test 160, but in that case, you know, long term, I think it's a buying opportunity. Yes, we are in a downtrend, and short term, I do expect this to continue farther down. However, long term, you know, you have to look at this at some point and say, when am I going to buy? You have to look at this, you know, if you believe in the stock, and yes, it's in a downtrend, you know, you got to, of course, exercise a little bit of caution. You don't want to just buy the heck out of falling knives, but you know, if you believe in a stock at a certain price, just because it's in a downtrend, that shouldn't stop you from adding, because you never know when it can turn around. You never know when it can turn around. You know, that being said, you don't want to just try to snipe the bottom, because most likely you're going to be wrong. You don't want to go all in, try to snipe the bottom, because we're in a downtrend. It's very likely we will continue down. However, there's that opportunity, there's that chance that we don't continue down, and I see Nvidia is a great add. Anything under 170, in my personal opinion, is a great add. However, I haven't added yet. But I'm going to be continuing to watch this one, and that's that. But thanks as always, guys, for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day.